Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cheyenne, and I am a mom, wife, rancher, nurse, business owner, and we are on a budgeting journey using cash stuffing and zero-based budgeting method in order to pay off debt and increase savings. So since starting this journey, we've been able to pay off over $60,000 worth of debt and are in the process of decreasing the rest of our debt and increasing savings. So if any of that sounds good to you, be sure and give this video a like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. So, excuse me. So today we are going to be working on budgeting out one of my paychecks. And this is a paycheck that I get paid monthly for. And it's $4,069. So if you watched some of my other budgeting videos before this, you may see that a lot of the times I'm not adding into fixed expenses, and it's all going towards like savings or different things like that. And that's because those are extra paychecks. And this one is our monthly paycheck, our main paycheck that we're paying most of our bills with. This is going to be ending soon because this job that I have that I'm getting paid monthly for, I'm not going to be doing soon. And so my paychecks will be going to just bi-weekly. So in the near future, our budgeting is going to start looking a little different. But for now, this is kind of why things look the way they do. So, with that being said, we are going to be budgeting $4,069, and I budget every single fixed expense we have for the month and every single variable expense that we have for the month with this paycheck. So, we're going to start in our fixed expenses, and I already went through and wrote out all of our different bills that we have. Now, these are bills that come out every month. They're typically the same set price. But then I budget for those. And then once they actually come out of our account, I come over here to this actual category and I write how much it was that came out. So we're just going to go through and start this out. So we're starting with 4,069. For Edward Jones, we're going to budget 200. For our phone, we're going to budget 260. And this recently went up because I did add an iPad to our service plan, but my goal is to get that iPad paid off and then just take it off our service plan because it doesn't really need the service plan. But since I went through here, they had a good deal. I was wanting a new iPad anyway. Ours was broken. So yeah, so anyway, so I went ahead and got a new iPad, and that's why if you've seen in the previous months, our phone bill usually isn't this high, but it did go up because of that. So for internet, I'm budgeting $100. Electric, I'm going to budget $200. The boat, $350. Right now, this is on we have two bills right now, and that's our boat and our medical bill that are considered debt. And those are we decided we wanted a boat. And so we thought we discussed it as a family and decided that it was okay for us to do that and get a little loan for it. So once we have that paid off, that will be done. And then our medical bill, we're almost done with it. Unfortunately, we had some issues with insurance when our son was born 3 years ago, and we are still paying on our delivery and then still paying on him being hospitalized for over a week for getting RSV when he was like 4 months old. So it just is what it is. We're almost done though. All right, so boat $350, school. I gotta go back and look. I forgot. Okay, so we're budgeting $200 for school. 15 for music. I believe we're at 314 for. So let's do 350 for this. This is going to be a little more than what we need, but I like to budget. All of these are either budgeted exactly at what they are or a little bit over. That way, I'm never in the negative. I'm always just a little bit over on these. All right, so Kindle, we're going to do 12. Offering, we'll do 200. Disney, we do 15. And then miscellaneous subscriptions, I'm bumping this up a lot to 100. And that's because I've added a few different things like Canva, Let's see, I've added, what else have I added? A few different like apps and stuff that are kind of helping me, excuse me, helping me with my budgeting and YouTube and like my Etsy, adding things into my Etsy and different business type things. So eventually this will move into a business category, but for now I'm just adding that into our miscellaneous subscriptions. All right, so let's give that a total. So we got 200, 260, 100, 200, 350, 200, 15, 350, 12, 200, 15, and 100. All right, so that is $2,002 into our fixed expenses. So we add that here in fixed expense total. And so then we're going to take what we're starting our budget with, which is 4,069, and then we're going to subtract 2,002 from that. So we're left with 2,067. So we add that here, and then we move down to our variable expenses and add it here. So now we know how much we have to keep working with. So, sorry, let me adjust that. Here we go. So now we have 2,067 left. So we know what we have to work with for our variable expenses. All right. So for our variable expenses, we budget 600 for groceries, 200 for household, 300 for snacks/eating out, 300 for self-care, and 75 for miscellaneous. So let's give that a total. So we have 600 plus 200 plus 300 plus 300 plus 75. So we're at 1475. So again, now we take what we had left over, 2,067 minus 1475. So we are left over with 592. So ideally, this is now your fun part of budgeting because you essentially have money left over because you have now paid off all of your bills. So now you have money left over and some money to spend or save. So we had 592 left over. So we're going to bring that up here, 592. And now this is where you get to decide. Are we going to add this into debt to try and pay off all of our debt? Or are we going to add this into some sinking funds? So for us, we're going to add this into some sinking funds. All right, so we're going to take our 592, and I'm going to just set my calculator here. So as we go, we can subtract and know what we have left. And so these are some of my main categories, and I may add some categories to this as we go through. But the main categories are right here. So for our 100 envelope challenge, we're going to do $50. So minus 50. We're going to do $100 for Christmas. We're going to skip birthdays. We're going to do $100 for gifts. We're going to do $100 for medical. We're going to do $25 for house. We're going to do $50 for car. We're going to skip appliances and we're going to skip furniture. We're going to do $100 for homeschool. So we have 67 left. We're going to skip emergency and I'm going to put down here gym remodel. Oh, my pen is dying, I think. So gym remodel, and we're going to do 67 for that. So our total for savings should be $592, and we should have $0 left over. Now, if you wanted to move into debt and work on paying off debt, sorry, give me just a second here. Okay, if you wanted to work on really throwing all your money at debt, you would maybe skip this part or add some and then come down here to debt. So if I wanted to throw all of our extra money at debt, which we have in months past, so even if we go back here to like January, pause for a moment, please. So if we go back here to January, you can see that we did do some savings, but then we had some money left over and we ended up having $298 left over. And so we put all of that towards a credit card that we had. Thankfully, we don't have that anymore. And so we're not really worrying about it too much. And so we're not adding into this debt. Like I said, we do have our boat and we do have our medical bill. They're almost paid off. Right now, we're trying to just really bulk up our savings. And that's because for us, that is what our goal is. Everyone's goals are going to look different. Everyone's debt payoff is going to look different. When we had so much debt, any tiny little piece of dollar we had, we were throwing that towards debt. So beforehand, I would have put money towards our emergency and money towards our medical because I want those to be there in case something comes up. But then I would have took everything we had left over and put it towards debt. And so that's kind of what we did. And that's how we were able to pay off so much debt so quickly. We cut out anything extra over here. So, like, we wouldn't have had the boat. We wouldn't have had music. We wouldn't have had this miscellaneous subscription or this Disney. We probably didn't have the Kindle. We wouldn't have had anything that's extra. All of that would have went towards debt. So then once we were able to get all of that debt paid off and had some extra things, then we were able to add some of those things back, like the Disney and the Kindle, and adding some different subscriptions, and then adding and then buying the boat. So that is how we budget our monthly paycheck. And again, this is eventually going to go away and our budget's going to look a little different. So if you were breaking this down to biweekly paychecks, you would want to be very specific about what date you have those due and then what date you're getting paid, because you want to make sure that you're covering those bills in that time frame. And I actually have a walkthrough video of how you do that. And so I'll add that here as well so you can kind of see what that looks like. And again, as we kind of progress throughout this year, that this is going to change for us. And so you'll be able to see those budgets a little more and how those work. All right, so now that we have our budget, and because we do cash stuffing, we need to know what we are getting cash out for and how we want that cash. So let's go through here and write all of our different categories that we're going to need cash for. So that was cut off a little bit. Okay, so now that we have all of our stuff listed here of what we need envelopes for or what we need cash for, we're going to write the amount and then we're going to break that down into how we want it. So we'll have ones, fives, tens, 20s, 50s, and hundreds. So we have 600 for groceries, 200 for household. Kyle gets 100, I get 100, the kids get 50, and we get 50 for family eating out. We get 100, 100, 100, 25, 25, 25. We're doing 50 here, 100 here. Let's see, we said 100 for gifts, 100 for medical. We said 25 for house, 50 for car, 100 for homeschool, and 67 for the gym remodel. All right, so now we need to give that a total, which our total should be easy. We should be at 2,067 because we're going to take the 1,475 plus the 592, 2,067. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to break down how we want our cash. So we're going to do $300 bills, two 50s, so that's 400. So then, and then we'll do, let's do 5 20s. And then 10 10s to make 600. So 3, 4, 5, 600. All right, so for household, we're going to do two 50s. We're going to do 4 20s and two 10s. So 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100 for 200. All right, so for snacks, we'll do 5 20s, 5 20s. We'll do two 20s and a 10, two 20s and a 10. We'll do 2, 2, and 2. And then we'll do two 10s and 5 1s for our miscellaneous. Then for our 100 envelope, let me look here. So we're budgeting 50. So we could do, I believe we have a 50. We don't have a 50. Why don't we just do a 50? Yeah, let's just do a 50. So we're going to do 150. For Christmas, we're going to do two 50s, gifts, two 50s, medical, we'll do 100. For house, let's do a 20 and a 5. Car, we can just do a 50. Homeschool, let's do two 50s. For the gym, we'll do a 50, a 10, a 5, and two 1s to make 67. All right, so the reason I do this, some of these like in different denominations. So groceries, like we're not always spending $600 right out, right? So we may need like a couple hundreds and some tens. So I kind of try to break that apart. Household, kind of same thing. For snacks, I just do 20s generally because then, we start getting some smaller bills as we spend. Self-care, I usually just do 50s. My self-care is usually all for hair. So it's usually like I need a higher denominations anyway. And then our miscellaneous is just kind of to cover random expenses that come up. And so that's why I just do 10s and 1s. And then these are just more like sinking funds and savings. And so I'm kind of just getting what I need. I don't necessarily need to break it all down into different denominations. Okay, so now that we have this done, we need to total it up. All right, so we have 400s. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19 50s. We have 5, 10, 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21. We've got 2, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. So now you go through and you write the value. So 17, 10. Let's see, this is going to be 210. Then we have 24 20s. So 480, 19 50s. So 950, and then 400. So now we're going to go across here, total this up, and make sure it equals this. All right, so we have 400 plus 950 plus 480 plus 210 plus 10 plus 17. 2067. We did it. Sometimes that does not happen. I do make mistakes and got to go back through. Okay, perfect. So now I need to get this ready for the bank. So I made these nice little teller slips that I take with me. And these are on my Etsy shop if you're interested. So now I take this information and write it on this little piece of paper so that I'm not having to take this giant notebook that I budget in with me to the bank to tell them what I need. Okay, so let's fill this out real quick. So we need 400s, 19, 24, 21, 2, and 7. So 7, 10, 210, 480, 950, 400 for a total of 2,067. Perfect. So now I get to take this little slip to the bank with me, hand this in to the bank, to the banker, and they then give me all my cash. And then I come home and cash stuff it into our binders. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about my budgeting, how I break things down, what I use for budgeting, any questions at all, please sure to leave a comment. And again, give this video a like, subscribe, and I do try to add in all of my links for different things that I use in the description box below. So if you're not seeing something, please let me know. All right. I hope you all have a blessed week, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
When I wake, he's by my side. In his peace I will abide. Through the storm or gentle breeze, with my Savior